Hey babes, welcome back. Now, of course, if you are new here, welcome. Now's a great time to subscribe. I'm Chrissy. I know that there are so many new people here on my channel. This is absolutely a channel filled with protective styles. I am absolutely just obsessed with doing my own hair, and obviously you'll kind of get a bit of that today. I'm here to actually help you learn to do some of these things yourself. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that this is not my very first time actually collabing with Eayon Hair. They are one of my favorite hair companies when it comes to boho crochet. And so of course, since I have finally found the confidence to try the boho knotless again for the second time, this was the perfect company to partner with. Now, of course, the hair that I'm actually using today is a little bit different than what I'm used to, but I want to show you how to prep it. All the hair details will actually be linked down in my description box, so don't worry about that. If you need a direct link, you can't find it, don't worry. Just comment below and I'll send it directly to you. Now, one thing that I learned is, of course, because this is the bulk hair, they do have a couple of different options from the deep loose wave hair or just the loose wave hair. I have noticed a common trend, right? It is bulk hair, so it's going to come to you kind of blunt. One thing that I noticed that I did not do as much the last time that I did this style is to really fringe out those ends. I found myself having a lot of pieces that I kind of needed to just cut off because they were kind of blunt. So of course, you guys know I'm into the scientific research and development of hair, all things hair. Chrissy is all up on it, okay? Black girls in tech. I'm crying. But yes, no, seriously, I had done so much research. I watched so many videos. There are so many creatives and just talented women out here. I'm like, really, we need a moment of like silence for us. You guys have taught me so much so that I can then go and teach others as well and kind of make it my own. So I don't know if this is the absolute perfect way or the most, I don't know the standard way. I actually don't. I'm kind of making this up as I go. And a lot of the times I just so happen to like what it looks like. So keep this in mind. A lot of these styles, because we are creatives, obviously there's some type of like foundation for the way that we install the hair and the techniques, but to really make styles your own, I mean, that's why I feel like doing your own hair really just kind of boosts your confidence, because you really are being your true self. Like if anything is messed up, if a part is a little bit too small, too big, you didn't braid a certain way, honestly, it's not as big of a deal because you have so much more appreciation for the fact that you took the time to love on yourself. And I know, girl, I'm always getting so deep. Just how do we go from 0 to 100? I have no clue, but I hope within this time you have finally learned how to separate, fringe out the boho bulk pieces. And then something that is kind of my spin that I've been doing is just adding the mousse ahead of time. So as opposed to installing all the braids and having this big bushel amount of hair, I want to clearly see my work. I want to feel like I'm done when I'm done, and having the mousse is actually was helping me to do that. So as you guys can see, I'm literally just holding the hair really, really tight with one hand, and it's almost separating on itself. I make sure not to separate each piece exactly strand to strand, because I really want this to just feel like, obviously nobody's natural hair is braided with boho pieces out, but I want this to lay in a natural way where, maybe it's heavier at the bottom and I have a few thinner pieces at the top and maybe medium-sized pieces in the middle. That's the way my brain kind of looks at the boho knotless. Now, if you're somebody that wants this style to be super full from root to tip, you're going to want to make sure that you separate a ton of hair ahead of time. Okay, a ton. I definitely did this like the night before and then a little bit the afternoon of. So, of course, y'all know a style is not a style until we have completely washed, conditioned, and blown out our hair. I actually got a question from one of you guys. You were like, Chrissy, like, why didn't you just jump right into the style? What was the point of you blow drying your hair and if you were just going to braid it? And we never want to work on wet hair. You can have all type of things go wrong, like mold, bacteria. Just like you really want to make sure that you're starting off with a fresh plate. And of course, same thing with the braid pattern. Some of you guys were like, Chrissy, why did you go ahead and like cornrow your hair the same way that I have already pre-sectioned out the hair that I'll need for this style? I want to make sure that my hair is prepped just the same. If you guys are beginners and feel like you need just a little bit more assistance in this department, that's okay. Your girls got you. I've actually created a separate video for the parting so that you guys can really learn how I got to this point. It's not going to be perfect every single time. This is really and truly a rough draft, okay? Like really and truly, and you get to clean up your work along the way. But pre-parting, prepping, having yourself properly prepared in life in general, okay, it's just going to make things flow a lot better. I'm not going to say that it's going to be easier, but I will say it will flow a lot better so you're able to continue to just move on to the next step without always having to look back. That is a word, okay? Just want to let y'all know. It really is, okay? And definitely a lesson that I'm learning to just really prepare myself. And a lot of the times we have the tools in front of us, and I get so many comments where you guys are like, Chrissy, I can never do this. Like, I love watching you do it, but I just can't. And I believe it's just, a lack of willingness to try. It's okay to fail. It's not going to be perfect. Every time that I do my hair, please believe it is not always perfect. But because I'm so confident about it, nobody can tell me anything about the style that I'm wearing, probably except my parents and my significant other. I feel like there's really not much to be said. I am not easily penetrated emotionally when it comes to things like that, and I don't think that you guys should feel as insecure or unsafe about trying something new with your hair. If it goes wrong, all that you have sacrificed is what? I mean, seriously, a couple of hours where you got to try a new skill. And guess what? Sometimes trying it on yourself is actually going to be a little bit easier than doing it on someone else. I am like that. I don't know why, but I like to be a guinea pig for myself. Now, because I am a visual learner, I like to do these videos where I kind of talk a little bit, teach a little bit, just because I think it helps the video to kind of move along without me just throwing a bunch of music and making you guys feel like, well, Chrissy, what do I actually do? If you guys can see, I have already pre-sectioned out little, individual connect-along hair pieces to add to the hair. I could have totally just used all boho hair, which actually I plan to be doing that in another video. And it can be a bit tough sometimes for me to explain exactly what I'm doing. So I try my best to just give you a bunch of different shots so that you can kind of see. If you have the technique of doing a single braid, then okay, cool. It looks like Chrissy is actually just looping the hair up underneath one of the strands. And honestly, that's all that I'm doing. I don't know if this is the right way, but when I look at my braid, it does actually look smooth. I feel like in this video, I'm being a lot more transparent because I want you guys to understand that I am in no way ever coming to show you guys a style out of a place of ego or just I got this, okay? No, I am trying this. I have had so much practice with parting my hair and just trying new styles, never knowing how it's really going to turn out, that over time, it appears as though it's girl, you are a master at this. And I feel like all of us can be too. That's really and truly the reason that I make these videos. I know that it made you seem oh, it's just hair. I'm just going to go to someone else to do it. I will say that going to different stylists over the years, I have not actually been someone that hops chair to chair. And I've done that for very intentional reasons. I do think that there's something to be said about consistency, right? And when I talk about practice, clearly when I parted this originally, I definitely thought to myself oh girl, I got it. Okay, it's straight across. I usually do this part. I had so much confidence until I added the edge control and I got to see I made some mistakes, and that's okay. I didn't decide to cut this part out of the video to give the illusion that oh, every time I part it's perfect. No. This is really practice, and sometimes it can take me 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to really get a part straight. A lot of times in the videos, of course, I have to kind of cut it down just so that you guys really get to see what I'm doing. But all in all, I'm saying this to say, don't be afraid to try something new. It doesn't have to be perfect. Absolutely. Please believe when your braider, your doctor, your dentist, okay, anyone is giving you expert quote unquote advice. Yes, we have studied, we have, a little bit more experience in what you do, but we are all just living and learning. So find some grace for yourself and others, which is why I'm so firm on sticking with a stylist. I literally have one person that I would absolutely go to each each and pretty much every time for braids. I have someone that I just love the way that they trim my hair and get it super straight. I even have someone for color, okay? So I just feel like you really have to kind of sort through. Not one person is going to have every single thing that you are looking for, but I do think you can make the most of it. And you also want to keep in mind that in order to really grow your hair out, you have to be consistent with the trims, with hydration, shampooing your hair, making sure that you're detoxing your scalp, like fully moisturizing it, conditioning it. It's not going to be a one hairstyle that's going to save everything or one stylist that's going to get you where you need to be. It's you making a choice to say, hey, look, I'm going to commit to my hair. And I know that I'm making this such a thing, but I really see how much of a struggle it is within our community. And I don't even know that it's like a lot of us don't love our hair. I think that we want to like it and we like the ideas of like what we can do with it, but a lot of it is just we don't have the knowledge. Like, you know, I'm seeing people go back to relaxers and I totally understand why, which is why I'm continuing to make these videos just to give you another option. If you're gonna, you know, wear your hair in blown out styles, I prefer you to actually go in with the leave-in conditioner, you know, some type of heat protectant and blow dry it out, right? If you want to do braided styles, don't hesitate to do it, but we should not be wearing these braided styles for 2 months at a time. And even 1 month can be a long and a lot depending on the style. Just wearing them over time within about a 2-week period of where you start to kind of notice your new growth, I felt a little bit more tension at the base of my braids. So these are things that you are wanting to keep in mind. We are definitely growing out our hair, and this is just a style option, really and truly. I don't want you to look at it like, oh, I have to hide my hair, or oh, I need to tuck it away. Same thing when it comes to like wigs. I feel like I've shown so many different techniques on my channel, but it's not an effort to hide my hair. It is an effort to protect it, grow it out, try something new, give myself a new look. You know, there's so many different reasons that go into that. So I want you guys just to remember, I did go to one music fest over this past weekend, and I was really just in awe at all the different styles. I was loving that so many women were going back to braids. I saw so many boho braids. I was like, yes, I love it. And it's always very just interesting to me to be in a crowd and to see what everybody is wearing, what they're doing with their hair, because it kind of helps me to understand where the trends are right now. And the boho is absolutely on trend. And because I'm deciding to make these a little bit more on the thicker side, they aren't really like small, but they aren't really large either. I kind of just really want these to look and sit in a way that I would wear my boho braids, right? Like my boho crochet. I am just obsessed with the way that that looks. I think the braids are the perfect size, and being able to go in and actually do this individually myself is not only going to help me to just like better manage my hair, I'm also going to have the chance to save a lot more money, because when I look back at 2020, 2021, how much I was spending on, it wasn't even 2020. I would actually say 2022 is when I really was like wearing braids heavy. And yes, I saw a lot of growth within my hair. I was getting my trims in between, but y'all, I was spending so much. And where you really kind of get the benefit is I've also seen some people go in and like as they remove their braid, they go ahead and tuck away the boho pieces. So literally put them to the side, and you guys can see the way that I'm installing them. I'm not using super thin strands or anything like that. They are chunky enough to where when I take down this braid, they should still kind of be cohesive and together. And the hair was super easy to maintain. If you guys don't know and you aren't following me on Instagram or TikTok, you guys would have missed that I actually went to Jamaica. And it was a brand trip, and I was really, really excited to be there. But the one thing that I was thinking about was like, is this hair gonna last for the amount of time that I'm there? I knew I was gonna be like in the ocean and all of that, and this was one of those trips where I had every intention on swimming. Okay, I was not about to just be getting pics by the pool. Like, no. Okay, my legs in. No. Girl was trying to be underwater. So I wanted to make sure that I was actually, you know, using hair that was going to last. And absolutely, okay, the hair was well over my expectations. Y'all know I got in chlorine water, salt water. There is a vlog that will actually come out for that. So just turn your post notifications, because I do want to kind of expand a little bit in just the type of content that I'm showing you. I feel like there's so many things that I get into, and every now and then I'll kind of show a little bit, but I honestly can be so private. So I hope that you guys don't feel like any less connected to me in that way, just because I like to focus on the hair, but I realize that like there's so much more, okay? There's just so much more, and I'm so excited. Like, if you guys have not already caught on to this technique, it is just like a plait. And I am absolutely just tucking one piece up underneath the middle piece each and every time. In some areas, I mess up. I take out the braid, I try it again. And when it comes to sealing the end, you guys can see I applied probably about 8 strands to each individual like braid. And I kind of placed them in different ways. Once I got to the end, I did go in and kind of just add a little bit more hair to kind of feed in piece by piece. Y'all, I wanted to make sure that everything was nice and smooth, because I noticed the first time that I did this, my braids were kind of uneven in some spots. So as I got closer to the bottom, I would feed in an additional like 3 strands slowly. So I would go like braid down maybe 3, feed in a strand, and then of course once I got to the end, I would just break off a little piece of that like Knotless hair, or even sometimes the boho hair, and wrap it around a few times. Y'all, when I tell you I did not need the nail glue, I found that technique on someone else's channel, and my braider had also done that. So I thought this is the way to get it done. But if you use a thin enough piece of hair, you don't have to do it. Now, y'all don't mind me. I caught myself trimming my ends just in the front of the bang, because it was just, I saw how clearly it was just so thin. And I absolutely did not want my hair to backtrack in the braids, because of course I'm not using just human hair. Like, obviously the Eayon hair is human, but the Knotless hair is not. And so that can actually cause breakage, which is why I'm going to be trying this style next time with all human hair. I think it'll be a lot more lightweight. It'll have a little bit more movement to it. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see what that'll look like. I am through and through a visual learner. Like, if y'all need to yell at me, please, okay, leave a comment. Chrissy, tell me how to show me this close up. Like, what is it that you need from me to get a better experience? Let me know, okay? I want to make these videos as beneficial to you as I can. Now, one technique that I was kind of struggling with is when you have that boho piece that comes out right at the start of the braid. Like, I was really struggling on that one. I'm like, how do y'all do that? But it was probably because I'm doing it on myself. It's just, I don't know. Or maybe I'm overthinking it, which it sounds like. So I was so excited that I was finally done. Girl, 8 hours later, I could not believe I had made it. First of all, if you have made it to this far in the video and you are not just like Chrissy, okay, please play some music. I appreciate you, because y'all know I'm long-winded, okay? And this is what the hair would just look like if it was completely dried. It probably would have a little bit more movement because I would have dipped the braids from this point. I decided not to do my edges at this, I think it was probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I was just ready to lay it down. It is getting dark earlier, so I know y'all probably like, Chrissy, how long you been braiding your hair? I feel like a long time. I mean, honestly, I lost track of time, but it was well over 6 hours for sure. 6 to 8, maybe even 9, but who knows? Anyway, the next day I decided that I was going to go ahead and kind of swoop the little edges a little bit. And then of course I was also going to dip my braids. Now, you could totally dip your braids with boiling hot water. You can put them on the stove, the microwave, you know, the little, I don't know. There's so many different ways you can heat up water. Okay. What I decided to do is just use the water that comes out of my sink, because it gets steamy, okay? But not so hot that my hand will get burned. And I kept that in mind because I knew that I had quite a bit of product in my hair from all the mousse that I had used, and I really wanted to be able to get it out. You can see just how much mousse was actually used. So of course it was going to keep my hair nice and like styled. That way, throughout the duration of my trip, I was not having to go through with any type of detangler, any type of conditioner, literally nothing, okay? The mousse kept everything nice and situated. The hair was super soft, did not shed. If I did get any shedding, it was when I called myself like, girl, I guess I must not have tied one knot really good. So I did have one braid kind of like shed itself out, like just the tip of it. So awkward. Anyway, And even that took me some time to notice. So all in all, the hair did exactly what I needed to do. I was surprisingly obsessed with the texture. Typically, whenever I have had the boho, which is really only like, aside from the boho crochet, I've only had the individuals 3 times. And each time, well, I guess this would have been the 3rd time, but the first 2, I had more of a curly texture. And just this like loose, deep wave option just made me feel a little bit more like at ease about it tangling. And I mean, through and through, I knew immediately, like, okay, this hair is going to last a little bit longer. I know that I say I typically have my styles in for about 2 weeks. Y'all, I stretched this one to about 3.5 weeks. And I really just took it out because, of course, it was time for me to get into another style. I needed to trim my ends, all that good stuff. All in all, the maintenance was super easy. Of course, all the details will be linked down in my description box below. I did allow this to just kind of air dry, y'all. Get into it. Of course, more updates will come along the way on my vacation. I love y'all so much. Stay pretty. And of course, you know, I will see you in my very next video. Let me know, is the boho hair too heavy, or do we need to just do crochet?